Go ahead and get started. This is the Economic Development and Special Development Projects Committee. I know we do not have a quorum. Other council members will be trickling down as the meeting goes on, but I do want to go ahead and get us started. Obviously, we'll skip through roll call, Ms. Spears, and the approval of the minutes and get straight to number 3 on the agenda, which is discussion of ordinance calendar number 34595 and its corresponding amendment calling for an election on November 5th, 2024, at which electors of the City of New Orleans shall be asked to approve an amendment to Article 2, Section 2-202 of the Home Rule Charter, adding workers' rights to the Municipal Bill of Rights. Before we get started, I wanted to make a few opening comments. The Bill of Rights in our charter is really a list of different value statements that the City of New Orleans has, that voters have approved to be part of the New Orleans Bill of Rights. And I found it really interesting that there really had been no mention of workers until the folks from Step Up and advocates working with Step Up, and of course the workers working with Step Up, brought it to our attention. And they thought that it was really important to add this to the city's Bill of Rights, due to the fact that so often workers in the city feel like they don't have a voice. And so by doing this, by having this major ballot measure in the fall, this gives workers a voice of what exactly it is that they need to have proper workplaces. So I wanted to read to everyone exactly what the lines are that we are adding to the City of New Orleans Bill of Rights, and just to make sure that everyone knows all of the different pieces that we're adding to these 2 paragraphs. So first it says, this is what we will be adding if this amendment is approved by the voters of New Orleans. The people have the right to live in economic prosperity and to receive fair living wages for their labor, equal pay, comprehensive health care coverage, and paid leave for the purposes of medical, family, bereavement, and vacation time. And the other piece we're adding is the people have the right to a safe workplace, which complies with all federal, state, and local workplace laws and regulations, including wage and hour laws, as well as the right to organize and to associate freely in pursuit of workplace and economic justice. And I really want to thank all the folks from Step Up who helped craft this language. Britton, thank you so much for your help. David, I know you spoke outside. There you are, David. Thank you for all of the countless meetings that you all attended with us. And of course, Ben, thank you, Ben, for your leadership, so that we could really find the right language and all of the pieces that we wanted to add to it, and then also make it in a way that it is concise so that the voters very easily look at it, read it, they get it, and hopefully because of that we get it approved. So often you see that in these ballot languages, when you go to vote, you're like, what does this all mean? It all looks like so complicated and crazy. And so we wanted to make it really as simple as possible and our message very clear that these are the 2 big paragraphs that we're adding, with our agenda very, very clear as to what we're trying to achieve with the values that we're adding to the Bill of Rights. So with that, let me turn it to the folks that Step Up. Please go ahead and introduce yourself. I don't know who wants to start. Keisha, Britton, I don't know who wants to go first, but you all take it from here.
Introduce ourselves really quick.
Okay.
Kenny, if you want to start. Just introduce yourself.
My name is Kenny Arbonat, and I'm a dollar store worker.
I'm Britton Forsyth. I'm the legislative coordinator for Step Up Louisiana.
Jeannie Donovan, Deputy Director at the New Orleans Health Department.
Margot White, a member of Starbucks Workers United.
And I'm Keisha Edwards. I'm the Operations and Membership Coordinator for Step Up Louisiana and a community organizer. Thank you for having us and giving us a chance to talk about the Workers' Bill of Rights today. Can I go on? Okay. Today we're going to talk about changing the Bill of Rights in the Charter to include the workers of New Orleans. But before I start, I want to talk about why the Workers' Bill of Rights is important to me. After incarceration in 2017, coming home, I worked for a truck stop where I only got paid $8 an hour. I didn't have any medical, any health insurance. I didn't have any paid time or sick time off. I had to work 12-hour shifts. Most of those shifts was from 9 at night to 9 in the morning. And I would work 10 to 12 straight days in a row before I would get a day off. And after several months of working, they gave me an extra 50 cents for working overnight. But that wasn't even enough for me to pay my fines and fees that I had to pay coming home. And then during that time, I had a medical complication that I didn't even realize I had. And it was cancer on my left ovary. So I had to take time off for that. Again, that left me without making enough money to even save to be able to have when I was off. When I took the time off, I had to hurry up and get back to work because if not, I would have lost my spot. Or I would have lost my hours or days to come back. See, it's people like me that deserve to have a workers' bill of rights because had I would have made a livable wage, had I would have had health insurance, had I would have had time off, maybe some of the things that I experienced mentally would not have happened or even physically would not have happened. So today I ask that these things be added to the charter and I tell employers what we think is right and the right way to treat workers. Things like having health care and paid leave will let people be healthy at work. And when they're healthy at work, you get a better employee. So I ask you, the City Council, at this time to please support the Workers' Bill of Rights and let the city decide. Thank you.
All right, I'm Britton Forsyth again. So today we're going to go through sort of the problem that we've identified, the landscape that we're looking at, the solution that we've identified, and specifically the charter change piece of that. Folks have introduced themselves. I know Mr. Sherman was on the agenda. He's running a little behind. Hopefully we get a chance to hear from him. And to open up with the problem, we believe that unregulated workplaces are killing us. We think it's pretty clear that they're leading to public health issues, racial disparities, and exploitation in the workplace.
Good morning, Council. My name is, again, Jeannie Donovan with the New Orleans Health Department. And I'm just going to take a couple minutes here to share my comments before handing it back over to the Step Up members. The Health Department is engaged in this effort to support workers because we know that the connection between good jobs, economic stability, and health is undeniable. We know that in our city, the lack of economic stability for a large portion of the population is directly linked to poor health outcomes and premature death. We know this because the residents tell us. In 2019, the Health Department conducted a survey of more than 1,000 residents and 100 partner organizations, and the results overwhelmingly showed us that one of the biggest barriers to health is lack of jobs with fair pay and benefits like paid leave and affordable health insurance. That's why increasing access to work environments that support health became one of our 9 priority areas in our community health improvement plan, and that's why we've engaged in this effort with Step Up. Workers in New Orleans, like the ones in this room today, can articulate the link between their jobs and their physical and mental health better than any study. But the data are also shocking and warrant our attention. An analysis by the Data Center found that residents of the richest white zip codes in New Orleans are expected to live more than 20 years longer than residents of the poorest Black neighborhoods. There's abundant evidence that show that each of the rights included in the proposed Workers' Bill of Rights charter changes are directly linked to improve health outcomes for workers and their families. For example, nearly half of workers do not earn any paid sick leave in our city. Workers with access to paid sick leave are less likely to delay preventative medical care for themselves or their loved ones, reducing the risk for undiagnosed or unmanaged chronic disease. Workers with paid sick leave are also less likely to go to work while they have a contagious illness or to send their child to school or daycare while sick. It's beneficial to everyone if workers are able to deal with unexpected illnesses and family emergencies without sacrificing their income or savings or losing their jobs altogether. This Bill of Rights is an important step to make clear that we as a city recognize the value of our workers and their health. Thank you.
Exacerbating racial disparities. Black communities are disproportionately impacted by lack of economic opportunity and access to adequate health care. Black New Orleans, ages 18 to 64, are close to twice as likely to be uninsured than white adults.
It's you, Margaret.
Exploiting essential workers. Corporations disproportionately exploit the Black workers who drive the New Orleans economy in the service and hospitality industries by providing low-paying jobs without access to benefits. Only half of hotel workers, for example, have access to paid time off, and less than half have access to benefits. Before I move on to the next slide, I'm going to share a bit of my personal experience as a worker in New Orleans. I would also like to thank the committee for having us present today. My name is Margot White. I'm a supervisor at the Starbucks in the Maroney, and I'm also now a proud member of Starbucks Workers United, as my store has unionized just last month. During our union campaign, my coworkers and I experienced blatant union busting from management. Baristas were being fed lies about the reality of unionization, such as being told that they will be losing their benefits and losing the ability to transfer stores. Violating our right to organize, our union flyers were removed daily. Management would also try to turn baristas against one another, using a he said, she said tactic to provoke discourse on the shop floor. We even experienced management telling baristas that the organizing committee was being paid by Starbucks Workers United, as if our incentive was from some paid assignment rather than a desire to fight for better working conditions for everyone. The Workers' Bill of Rights gives us a chance to have a public conversation about what we expect from employers. It's time for bosses to know that we expect them to be in line with all laws and regulations around unions. The next slide is the landscape, finding a path to change.
Protecting workers despite preemption. Step Up Louisiana saw these problems both on a large scale and in our own membership and organizing efforts. Because we are in a state with preemption laws, we know we had to focus on solutions where the city has local control.
So we thought it best to approach our local issues with a combination of tactics that are legally available. We took some inspiration from other states. Here are a few of the areas. Harris County in Texas and Durham in North Carolina both have sort of a workers' board or commission body. In Pennsylvania, there's a Board of Health Enforcement of paid sick leave. Seattle and Philadelphia both have a domestic worker bill of rights, and New York City has a workers' bill of rights. So moving on to the solution, we believe that the health of many folks in the city, and specifically worker health, starts with workers' rights. So we've developed a three-part legislative agenda. Today we're focusing on the charter change, obviously, but I'll run through each of the three pieces. So the charter change is basically setting forth ideals about how we think workers should be treated in the city, what we think should happen in workplaces, and calls the question on the ballot for workers' rights in New Orleans. The second part is a workers' commission, which basically supports and oversees the movement toward those ideals. It's a place to have public conversations about workplaces, how to protect workers' rights. And then recently, something that we've been toying with about the Workers' Commission is a place for workers to learn how to organize. And then an incentive program, which is the piece that we have been in conversation with the health department about, that recognizes good employers. Currently, the working title is the Healthy Workplace Program.
Community-driven policy. Candidate questionnaires. During the 2021 municipal election, Step Up asked candidates about their support for the Workers' Bill of Rights. Candidates were very supportive. Workers' Movement Assembly, we brought together workers and communities with an assembly every city council. Districts asked them what they wanted to see in the Workers' Bill of Rights. City work model legislation. Several policies championed by the New Orleans City Council includes the parental leave, $15 minimum wage, and fair chance hiring. Policies for city workers have been adopted in the private sector across New Orleans. But before we move on, I'd like to give a little talk about myself. My name is Kenny Arbonat. I work at Dollar General and organize with Step Up Louisiana. And thank you all for having us today. I want to talk about my experience as a low-wage worker and why the Workers' Bill of Rights is important to me. 4 years ago, I was working at Dollar General, making $8 an hour. The rent for my apartment complex I was staying at went up by $400, and I couldn't afford it. I had to move back in with my parents, and I felt my world was crumbling around me. I felt embarrassed to go and face my parents like that. I'm grateful and lucky that they was nice enough that I had their support. I stayed with my parents for about a year or two. I was finally able to find a place that cost less, but I still wasn't able to afford all the necessities. So I had to go on food stamps that I never thought I would have to do. And I felt so much more despair, and my pride was very much hurt. The Workers' Bill of Rights is a chance for us to say what we value as a city about earning a living wage and a right for people to live here and earning a living wage. The right for people to live with dignity. That's why I filed 4 asks in the Workers' Bill of Rights is a living wage, paid leave, union neutrality, and health care.
So since landing on these 4 key points, we have formed an organizing committee with workers and organizers. We've participated in a grant-funded partnership with the New Orleans Health Department to develop the Healthy Workplace Program. And we've written and published a sign-on letter where business owners, community groups, faith leaders, and workers put their names behind the movement. We've also held a town hall, and as both of you know, we've met with city council members. Where we are now is that we are continuing to work out the specifics of the commission build-out and the Healthy Workplace Program.
The charter change. Worker rights belong in the Bill of Rights. Step 1 of moving forward toward better workplaces for all New Orleans is adding these 2 points to the Workers' Bill of Rights in the Home Rule Charter. The people have the right to live in economic prosperity and to receive fair living wages for their labor, equal pay, comprehensive health care coverage, and paid leave for the purposes of medical, family, bereavement, and vacation time. The people have the right to a safe workplace which complies with all federal, state, and local workplace laws and regulations, including wage and hour laws, as well as the right to organize and to associate freely in pursuit of workplace and economic justice.
So to close out, we believe it's time to close the gap, that 20-year life expectancy gap. New Orleanians are struggling, particularly Black New Orleanians. The life expectancy gap in the city is absolutely a public health crisis. 20 years is unacceptable. Creating the Workers' Bill of Rights will make New Orleans a leader in protecting workers, particularly in sort of the political climate that we're in New Orleans, and is the next step in a long fight with the workers of the city. And that is all. If folks have any questions, we're happy to answer.
All right, thank you. We do have public comment. Mr. Esteen, Sharmon Esteen. Come on up, and you'll be followed by Bob Morrell.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How y'all doing today?
Good.
Okay, so it's, in my opinion, the Workers' Bill of Rights definitely affects people like me. I'm a business owner. I own Nano's Cajun Cuisine and Pastries, and I hire a lot of people that come home from being formerly incarcerated, women and men. I also hire people that really don't understand their skill sets, like people that are in college, you know, people that are just in general looking to build their lives. Well, the Workers' Bill of Rights is for effective pay for people that need to survive. Some people have kids when they're young, and they really don't have a need to be able to take care of themselves with low wages. So by raising the wages and pay, it will help for them to have effective living conditions. It'll also help people that, you know, really are just trying to survive in life and make a real life for kids, because a lot of our kids grew up in neighborhoods and they really need a chance in life. these neighborhoods don't have the effective amount of living conditions. So for me, I would honestly say that we should vote to raise up the pay. We should also be able to make conditions, living conditions better, because these are the things that the Bill of Workers' Rights deal with. We should honestly look at the condition in which the state of New Orleans is in. We need help. And by raising the pay, this pay will help us all to live a better life. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Esteen, real quick, you are a business owner, and one of the things I spoke about outside is how actually this is a pro-business type of ballot measure. Can you speak to that?
Sure. I mean, it definitely would help boost the amount of money that I have coming into the restaurant. And, you know, just to be able to have a clean environment for people that want to come in, such as yourself and Mr. JP and all the board members. I just, you know, enhanced my yard, and I have spoken word, and I also have Ms. Charmaine Neville singing on Sundays. And for people that are working for me, you know, and particularly myself, because I work for the business as well, I could definitely use a little enhancement in pay.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just that I'm a community person. I've always grown up in a community, and I know that the community needs me and needs people like everybody in here today, because we are all we have. And if we cannot stand up for each other to better ourselves and to better our conditions, then who do we have?
Yep. Thank you so much, Mr. Esteen.
You're very welcome.
I'll see you over at No soon.
I'll be
All
there.
right. Mr. Morrell, followed by Jack Reno Sweeney.
Good morning, everybody. Bob Morrell, 6334 Canal Boulevard. Obviously, I'm a huge proponent of workers' rights. When I think about the intersection of all the challenges that the citizens of New Orleans have, whether it's single parents trying to raise their kids and having to decide whether or not they'll miss a shift in order to bring their kid to the pediatrician, I think about the fight of people that are housing insecure and have to find those opportunities to try to make sure that they have a safe place to live. And I really appreciate the effort from Step Up Louisiana and to you as well, Councilmember Moreno, to try to establish this not only as a right, but also as something that we can all rally behind. When we see the reactionary movement in the legislature and in Baton Rouge, I think it's imperative and incumbent upon all of us to try to make sure that we step up, not just for those that are the loudest, but oftentimes those that are the quietest, because it's in our strength that we find the righteous noise that we need to fix this. So I appreciate you and support this effort. Thank you.
Thank you. Jack Reno Sweeney, followed by Gregory Wilson.
Hello, everybody. Jack Reno Sweeney, representing New Orleans DSA, an all-volunteer organization of approximately 400 dues-paying members. Proud to support Step Up's initiative for a Workers' Bill of Rights, and I'd like to just speak a little bit about the context of this initiative. As Bob mentioned, in Baton Rouge, the Landry administration has wasted no time in trying to tear apart whatever shreds of the social safety net we have left in this state, paying special attention to wiping out any basic protections for workers in the name of extracting wealth from the people to enrich those who are already wealthy and powerful. Every Louisianan with a conscience has a duty to stand up for their neighbors and for themselves to fight back against this onslaught against our rights and our well-being. New Orleans, as a city, has a special responsibility to lead on the issue of workers' rights in our state, being the economic engine of the whole state, and home to hundreds of thousands of workers who are both in Landry's crosshairs, but who are ready and willing to stand up against his efforts. The Workers' Bill of Rights demonstrates our city's commitment to justice, fairness, and equality. Its passage here and an affirmative vote in the fall would represent a commitment from the city at all levels to building a better Louisiana that goes far beyond Governor Landry's austere and destructive vision for our future. So thank you to the council members here today for supporting this initiative. to lay the bedrock for a movement to defend working Louisianans from extremist and anti-worker policies coming from our state government and its ultra-wealthy cronies trying to keep our economy and our communities in their grip. This is just the beginning of a fight, but when we fight, we win. Thank you very much.
Gregory Wilson, followed by Erica Zucker.
Hi, I'm Greg Wilson, 4868 Coronado, New Orleans East, and I'm from the West Bank. As a rank and file worker, I had the privilege to organize here in my city and in my state for workers' rights, and I was able to organize the Hilton, the Convention Center, Harris, West Bank cafeteria workers, and also the airport. I was asked at my last job to relocate to Vegas, but why should I? How do we continue to invest what we have here? This Bill of Rights is very important. I don't like to see my family, my friends, and my coworkers to go to neighboring states. It's on us. This Worker Bill of Rights gives power to workers. I'm the lead organizer here at Step Up Louisiana. And why is it important? For us to rally around our workers in our community to make sure that we invest in them in a real way. That means everything that's on the ballot or in the forum for the Worker Bill of Rights needs to be addressed and heard. It's also kind of insulting to see that we don't have all of our council people here. We are your constituents. We are those who put you in office. We are those who will eventually, again, decide whether you're back sitting up in those comfortable leather seats. So let's continue to invest in us in a real way. That means spreading the word. That means talking not only to those who sit in those comfortable seats, but those in our community, right? Teach one, grow one, develop one. So we're looking for you guys to endorse this bill, not just who we have here, Helena. We appreciate you 100%. JP Morrell, we appreciate you being here as well. But we got to continue this. I'm asking you, begging you, let's make New Orleans stronger than what it is today. We're tired of being last. I've been here. Went to Dillard University, never wanted to leave here because this is home. But how do we make it better for ourselves? It's on our backs. We stand on those shoulders who came before us. So let's do the work. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Erica Zucker, followed by Gay Brown.
Good morning, everybody.
Good
Erica
morning.
Zucker. I'm the Director of Policy and Advocacy at the Workplace Justice Project. I was thrilled when Britton called me about a year and a half ago and asked if I would help do research and policy on the Workers' Bill of Rights. I don't have a whole lot to add to what's already been said. There is so much data to back up everything that has been said here, everything that's been said by Jeannie about the public health effects of work that is well compensated and treated with dignity. What Mr. Sherman said, there is a plethora of data that says that businesses do better when workers do better. Yep. Housing does better when workers do better. When workers have more money in their pocket, they can spend it, and that is better for the economy. Yep. So when I was thinking about what to say and all of the time that we've spent at the Workplace Justice Project focusing on the dignity of work, that there is no such thing as unskilled labor, that everybody deserves a job that pays them enough to live on, I thought about this quote that we've used in many grant applications over the past years that I've been here. So I thought that I would add this into the record. I will change it a little bit to make Ms. Eleanor Roosevelt's comments from the 1940s a little bit more gender inclusive. But what she said, her reflection on matters of justice and dignity is as follows. Where, after all, do universal human rights begin? In small places close to home, so close and so small that they cannot be seen on any maps of the world. Yet they are the world of the individual person, the neighborhood they live in, the school or college they attend, the factory, farm, or office where they work. Such are the places where every man, woman, and child seeks equal justice, equal opportunity, equal dignity without discrimination. Unless these rights have meaning there. They have little meaning anywhere. Without concerned citizen action to uphold them close to home, we shall look in vain for progress in the larger world. I am proud of this council for taking this position. I will be even prouder when our city votes to enshrine the rights of workers to dignity and to basic rights on the job in our charter. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Gay Brown, followed by Jeanette Serrato. I don't see Gay. Oh, there she comes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I filled the card out, but I didn't want to speak.
Oh, okay.
Since I'm up here, okay. My thing about this bill is, I'm sure now I'm not the only one, that we've been watching all these young women lose their lives at the hands of men, being abused, being shot down in the street, where the family has to discover them. The Workers' Bill of Rights, to me, will give these women a stronger foundation to be able to go out and support themselves, where you don't need this type of behavior in your home. If you can't make enough to pay bills, and right now we have people who are debating against, do I buy my medicine or can I pay my light bill? Right. So the Worker Bill of Rights, too many people are working, and I watched this growing up. You had so many people working, living in the projects, going to these restaurants, helping these people become billionaires. But when they got home, they didn't have money to feed their children. So to me, the Workers' Bill of Rights is just, it's not giving a handout. It's helping people to be able to help themselves. Because if I make more money, then I can take care and feed my family, which therefore you're making more money. So I don't see where it's such an imbalance at. Thurgood Marshall said equal but separate. We've been equal but separate all our lives. We can't continue to do this because it's not helping anybody. So we have to put forward a better, you just have to look at other people. I don't look at where I live, I look at other people. Because even though I may be able to pay some of my bills, there are things other people can't do. And I don't think you should work for a company or a corporation and get home and you can't even feed your children or pay your light bill. So there's no balance in this. We've never been fair, we've never been equal. We can't keep saying that because it's not. But I think we can do better to help each other. And that's all we're asking for. Help the people who can't help themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Jeanette Serrato, followed by Edward Parker.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Jeanette Hurtado on behalf of the New Orleans Workers Center for Racial Justice. I'm an organizer, and I just want to say that this Workers' Bill of Rights is so important. As we all know, poverty is a health issue, physical, mental. It has severe effects on crime, education, prosperity, and productivity. And it is so, I personally am so grateful that you're taking this up because it is so important that the workers here in this city keep it running, they keep it going. That is the reason we have the most income of all the cities within Louisiana, is because of the people here. And at the very least, they deserve to have equitable, more than just equitable pay, not just survivable pay, but thrivable pay, thrivable working conditions. We're not asking for much. And to see Step Up and Starbucks and all of the workers come and support this, and to see the City Council do the same is so heartwarming given what is happening at our Capitol, given the attacks that we are now taking on, not just as workers, as human beings. So I am just wanted to say we support this. We're looking forward to more dignity in the workplace and more thrivability in the workplace because it benefits us all. Thank you so much for your time.
Mr. Parker, followed by Kalita Lloyd.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Parker.
And Ed Parker, our group, the New Orleans United Front, really appreciate this day, and we appreciate you, Council, for taking up what is a human right. We've been before you before talking about economic opportunity. We've been before you asking about the disparity study. We also have been before you talking about all the things that this city has to do economically to make this a greater city. I want to thank New Orleans. That's New Orleans. Our group supports this Workers' Bill of Rights. And always remember, crime and poverty go hand in hand. And in this city, it's been proven that most of our families, especially black families, live at or below the poverty level. We need this, and thank you, Progressive Council. We know this has already passed.
Thank you. Kalita Lloyd.
Hello, good morning. Kalita Lloyd. I am the director of the Office of Human Rights and Equity here in the city, and I just felt remiss not to come up and speak. I am thankful for the initiative and what this is all culminating to look like and to be. And I just want to offer information that allows us to think even deeply past the ballot measure. I think what we get to think about is the different stories that were told and how we get to manage the expectations of what the measure will do, and then also be able to think about how do we also think much more creatively, much more in a creative way of how we actually affect the stories that we're told today. And so I'm looking forward to working and meeting everyone and continuing kind of the progress, but I just want to hold that after the ballot measure, that we even invite ourselves to think even more deeply. And so looking forward to work to think about that and really come up with tangible solutions. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lloyd. Ms. Spears, do we have any online comments?
Yes, we do. We have 2 online comments. The first one is from Julie Schwamm-Harris. She is not a paid actor, and she says, please support this effort to outline clearly and get support for implementing what are necessary and should be established rights for all workers. Thank you. And the second comment is from Angel Bradford on behalf of the Sierra Club Delta chapter. And she says, we, the Sierra Club Delta chapter, support this bill wholeheartedly. We need to set a new tone and a new environment of care and respect for workers in New Orleans and Louisiana writ large. This is one of the best investments and commitments we can make. Please vote yes.
Thank you, Ms. Spears. And I do have one more public comment. Robert Horton. Oh, 2 more. Robert Horton, if you want to come up, and then David Thompson.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Robert Horton. I reside at 2733 North Prayer. I support this effort around the Workers' Bill of Rights because it's no more than right. First of all, when I think about this country, in the state of Louisiana, we're one of the poorest states in the Union, and we're still living below the poverty line. The Workers' Bill of Rights would be beneficial to the city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana because it would increase the livelihood of everyone here, not only the business corporations, but the residents themselves. Folks after Hurricane Katrina have been struggling since then. Since that time, we've been in inflationary times. A pack of bacon, a pack of cheese is about $8 these days. And me making $8 an hour ain't gonna cut it. You got folks who live in 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom homes paying $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 a month in rent alone. There's no renter's rights either. So after you finish paying all of your bills, you ain't even got money to do anything with. Folks are living check to check, living just to wake up to live again. We got to change that. A Workers' Bill of Rights would protect all of its workers, first of all, because there's so many intimidation tactics when it comes to conversations about unionizing, when it comes to conversations about renters' rights, when it comes to conversations about minimum wage, all of these things. So it's very important. And just being an experienced organizer myself, I can recall the days of the 1990s when we were organizing in my community, the St. Thomas Housing Development, through an organization called Black Men United. The fact that we organized and worked with Blue Plate Mayonnaise, Riley's Electrical Company, Avondale Shipyard, and others, and got men jobs, it also reduced the crime rate in our city, which was very important. If you reduce the crime, the best way to reduce the crime rate is to create jobs. Create decent employment for folks in this city. That's very important. So also, I think what else is tied into some of this, when we think about workers' rights, is also the idea that folks can't even get decent expungements in this town. When we talk about folks with criminal records, a criminal record only means I can just be on probation, but it's a felony. We're one of the only states that look at a lifetime when you get sentenced or have a conviction. Most states only look at the last 7 years. If I do I left Southern University of New Orleans because I couldn't get a decent job here and called myself going to Seattle, Washington to get a better job, but I needed a background check. In order to get a background check, I had to send back for my records from New Orleans, and they sent everything that was ever done. So we're still dealing with post-conviction challenges, which is also tied into the Workers' Bill of Rights. Folks can't even get jobs now because they have criminal records. Before you even finish looking at my application, you say, actually, am I convicted of a felony, and you throw it in the trash right then and there. That's working against people. Right. So we need protections in all of these different areas, not to mention that it would create a better lifestyle for everyone in this city.
Thank you, Mr. Horton. David Thompson, followed by Allie Beth Rose.
My name is David Thompson. I'm an organizer for ULU Local 100, and I just want to speak in favor, in particular, of the provision of this Bill of Rights designating businesses as healthy workplaces if they don't do union busting. So just in the last year and a half that I've been organizing, we have organized workers at the transit agency here, the RTA, workers who have not had a union, have been seeking one. The agency continues to deny them that right. Councilwoman Moreno, you've been a huge help to us in trying to change that, but we're still fighting against the agency, against the Board of Commissioners. We're taking up that fight on the state level with the reform bill there, but it's an existential fight there. We've organized janitors at University of New Orleans and Inspired Charter Schools. At first, we had to fight through them sicking the University of New Orleans police on us, put me in a car for an hour just for the crime of talking to workers exercising their basic rights. They stood strong, and we've won 15% raises there in union rights, and it's been a great fight, but it was an existential fight. We're also fighting here to represent the janitors at City Hall and other city-owned buildings. This is an old contract, but ETI and Supreme, the contractors there, have refused to negotiate with the union. So we're going to be ramping up that fight as well. But it's an existential fight every single time workers try to get together to organize a union. We need all the help we can get. So creating this voluntary designation, I think, is going to be a big step in the right direction there. And we appreciate y'all's support in making that happen. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. Allie Beth Rose, followed by Mithian Ricciardo. I think I pronounced it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Allie Beth Rose, and I'm here representing ION Surveillance New Orleans. There's been so many good things said today, so I'll just keep it short. That improving quality of life is the foundation of public safety, addressing the root causes of harm and violence in our city. And ION Surveillance overwhelmingly supports this measure and any measure to improve our livelihoods here in the city. We support workers, and we know that keeping workers safe is what keeps our community safe. And not only just the workers, supporting the workers also supports families, supports children. So we overwhelmingly support this measure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mithian, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name, your last name incorrectly. Ricciardo? No, you're like no.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name's Matthew Ricardo.
Matthew Ricardo,
yeah, no worries.
gotcha.
I didn't plan on speaking initially, but one thing I've noticed here today is in terms of the employers that are being represented by the workers here, it is Hilton, it is Starbucks, it is the Dollar General. These are all large corporations that are coming here. They're underpaying workers here. These same corporations are paying livable wages elsewhere in the country. They are simply using the historical basis here to overexploit our population, and it's harmful not just to individuals here, but also to our city at large. And it is our state's legislative responsibility to set the standards for which these companies come here, seeking to grow and seeking to employ people in the ways that they are, able to do that. So I fully support this bill, and I hope you do too.
Thank you. And then, and then one more card, Jamal Otis.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, guys. I'm here in support of this bill on behalf of ASME Council 17. We represent all of the city workers, and as you know, it's been a challenge.
Yeah.
And with that challenge, thanks to you guys has set the platform. We don't want to go backwards.
Yeah.
And if we go backwards, that sets a precedent for these guys to move forward on our workers. So I'm here as ASME representative, representing all city workers, representing workers, because I too was a worker. I was a cafeteria worker. So I know the ins and outs, what corporations do and how they do it, to deploy, to use, and to manipulate how we get to say in our verse. And we do the job. They sit in their big old office rooms and they just give orders. But I'm here asking y'all, pleading y'all to support us in this endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and no doubt, I know it's been mentioned before, but there are several bills in the legislative session that will take us backwards with things that we've been able to move forward here in the city of New Orleans. But once again, this effort with the Workers' Bill of Rights is us showing the rest of the state that we don't agree, that we're pushing back. And I think we're going to have a really big response coming up this fall to show exactly how the city of New Orleans really feels and respects their workers. So thank you all so much. Councilmember Morrell, did you want to say anything? No, we're good. I know that he is in support, so he's one of the co-authors as well. So thank you all so much for your presentation. We appreciate you. All right, more to come, and this will come before the City Council for our full council meeting on Thursday. Thank you. All right, so now I've got a couple of motions dealing with some professional service agreements. We'll take item number 4. I think Civil Service is here. Hey, Amy, if you want to come up.
So it's like what I'm there. And I did this.
Hey, Amy, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Councilmember.
Whenever you're ready, we'll take M24-100.
Good morning.
Hang on one
Councilmembers-
second.
Oh,
Bye, y'all. Hey, y'all, can you quiet it down? I need to make sure that we can hear her.
Yeah, can you take your conversations
Yeah.
outside, just because we need to finish the meeting today, please? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you could please take your conversations outside, we appreciate
Thank
it. We just
y'all.
want to finish the meeting. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Amy. Go ahead.
Good morning, council members. Amy Trepanier, Civil Service Director. I also have with me Christina Carroll, the Commission's Executive Counsel. Today we are requesting approval under Council Rule 57 and City Code Section 7010. We have two items before you. They're both for attorneys to serve as hearing examiners for the Civil Service Commission. The first one is for IAS Law. It's a 6-month contract extension and also increases the compensation by $15,000 for that 6-month period.
Okay. Take us through M24-101.
The second one is also to serve as a hearing examiner for the Civil Service Commission for Disciplinary Appeals. This one is for Jay Ginsburg. And again, it's a 6-month contract extension and increases the compensation by $25,000 for that period.
I don't have any questions to you, Councilmember Morrell? No questions. Those will go to the full council on Thursday. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. With that, we have finished our agenda. We don't have a quorum, but we'll adjourn. All right. Thank you.